Two guys are offered a cigarette. The first one responds by saying, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit smoking." The second one, when he is offered the same cigarette, he looks at it and he says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." I'm almost certain that you've heard this example before. And I am 100% certain that you've never been told how to actually go from the first to the second. Well, this video is going to be exactly that. You're finally going to find out exactly how to go from the first to the second. So buckle in and let's get started. Well, if we're really going to start from the beginning, let's be honest, nobody ever starts with, "I want to quit smoking," or "I want to be more productive," or anything like that. The first thought always is, "I want to be healthier," or "I want to be richer," or something like that. And the second thought then is, if I want to be healthier, I'll need to quit smoking. If I want to be richer, I'll have to be more productive. We all succeed in making the connection between the first and the second, but most of us fail to make the connection between the second and the third. That if I want to quit smoking, I will have to become a man who doesn't smoke. If I want to be more productive, I'll have to start seeing myself as a productive man. And as long as this final connection isn't made, change never happens. As long as you see yourself as a fat guy who's addicted to sweets and junk food, no matter how many diets you go upon, you will inevitably end up back in the same place, having gained back all of the weight that you spent months trying to lose. The only way to really lose weight in the long term is to start seeing yourself as a healthy man. A man who doesn't have to force himself to eat healthy, but who relishes healthy food, who prefers to eat light, who genuinely doesn't like junk food. With a belief like that, you all but guarantee that you'll get the outcome that you want. If you see yourself as a disciplined, productive man, you're inevitably going to become successful at some point. As long as you see yourself as a video game and social media addict who is trying to be productive, it's very unlikely that you'll ever become successful. So it all boils down to, how do I change my identity? How do I go from "I'm trying to quit smoking" to "I am not a smoker"? Any of you who's ever tried to change their identity would have had this thought that one of my mentorship students put very aptly. We were talking about identity change, about everything that we're going to get into in this video, and he says, "I cannot lie to myself. I am not a disciplined man. I spend hours scrolling on my phone first thing in the morning every single day. I cannot just say that I'm a disciplined man and convince myself of it. I cannot lie to myself." So how do you change your identity? Let's back up a little. We've established by now that you cannot make yourself do anything in the long term if it doesn't align with your identity, right? But you do sit and scroll through your phone for hours first thing in the morning every single morning. So you do see yourself as someone who does that, as a phone addict. How did you do that? You didn't always see yourself as a phone addict, did you? So how did you change your identity then? You see, we're not born with preset beliefs. I'm going to repeat that for you. We're not born with preset beliefs. Every belief of yours, including those about yourself, is learned and conditioned through experience. Let me share with you my example. My dad is a doctor and he was in the army until just a couple of years ago. So of course the question would naturally come up, don't you want to join the army as well? And my response to this would be, I hate discipline. I can't stand discipline. I can't have a fixed time for sleeping and waking up every day. I can't be asked to go out and exercise first thing in the morning every day. I can't have every minute of mine structured and decided by a routine. I'm not a robot. I hate discipline, is what I wanted to say. Of course, what I actually said was, don't you want to join the army as well? Oh, I hadn't really given it much thought. I'll think about it. I had given it a lot of thought though. And what I shared with you were my true, genuine feelings about it. Anyone who knows me today will see the irony in that. Every one of those things that I so strongly believed that I just couldn't do, I do them today. Without anyone even having to tell me to do them. I used to believe so very strongly that I couldn't do discipline, that I was an undisciplined man. I wasn't born with that identity. How did I adopt it? It's simple. I never tried being disciplined. So I thought that that's who I was, an undisciplined man. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. Your identity emerges out of your habits. When you make your bed each day, you embody the identity of an organized man. When you go to the gym every day, you embody the identity of a healthy man. When you do the good habits, even when you're not feeling the motivation to do them, you embody the identity of a disciplined man. So the most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. That's fucking beautiful. I would very highly recommend you note that down. The most practical way to change who you are as a person, to change your identity, to change how you see yourself, is to simply change what you do. Here's exactly how you change your identity. Step 1, ask yourself, who is the type of person who could get the outcome that I want? And step 2, start acting like that person. Constantly and consistently prove to yourself that you indeed are that person, and you'll start to believe it yourself. Again, the more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. And so the process of building habits is actually the process of building your identity, of building who you are. So to conclude, if you smoked your last cigarette yesterday, you cannot lie to yourself and say that I am not a smoker. You will have to say, I'm trying to quit smoking. But if you actually sit down and ask yourself, who is the type of person who could get the outcome that I want, the outcome of being healthier, the answer that will emerge from within is a man who doesn't smoke, a man who isn't a smoker. And the more you start trying to act like that person, how do you act like him? By not smoking yourself, right? And as you keep not smoking, as you keep trying to fake it and act like the person you want to be, like the person who doesn't smoke, as you keep acting like a non-smoker, before you know it, you go from I'm trying to quit smoking to I am not a smoker. So ask yourself, who is the type of person who would get the outcome that you want, the result that you want, who would live the life that you want to live? Start by acting like that person, and before you know it, you will become that person. And in doing that, you will make your dreams a reality, one day at a time. I'll see you in the next one, boys.